Well, hello my friends, and welcome to my shack again. After a quite long period. Well, my shack changed in the matter of fact. Now I'm in the basement. Yeah, it seems that my wife sent me to the basement, Hotel India. I'm just kidding, I have much more room here. It's quite a big basement. So, guys, today we're gonna talk about CBE again, the Citizen Band. So, it's an amplifier based on a Russian military tube, Golf Uniform 43B. Well, I know it's not very handsome aesthetically, and with this artificial light, the image is not great at all. But the amplifier is working just fine, and I'm quite impressed by his performances. As you can see, we're gonna attack him in Citizen Band, and that's the amplifier. It's based on the military Russian tube Golf Uniform 43B, which is a glass metal tube, quite strong glass metal tube, developed for the Russian Red Army. As usual, my dummy load, it's only 1 kW, and it cannot withstand for long times high powers. The case, it's an old computer case, modified to have all the walls in aluminium. Here is the dissipation horn and of course my power meter. So we're gonna start the amplifier, and then we're gonna open it to see it inside. About the description of the amplifier, as you can see in this image, here is the input relay with a radio frequency vox, which is turning the amplifier into transmission mode whenever it detects radio frequency at the input of the amplifier. And there you have the big anodic voltage transformer. You will see after on the other side that we have a doubler, so the final voltage is 2500 watts, 2.5 kilovolts for the tube. On the same transformer you can see the second grid rectifier and doubler, and on the other side you will see the first grid negative bias voltage. On the top of the amplifier you can see the second grid regulator, which is a parallel regulator. It's not a series regulator. You cannot use series connection for the regulator transistor. It's a parallel to avoid the dinatronic effect, which can be present at the tetrodes. When you use tetrode, the dinatron effect can appear, and it can destroy the amplifier. So you need to have parallel regulation on the second grid. It's very important, this. And there on the lower part you have the filament transformer and the relay transformer, which delivers 12 volts. On the top part you have the tube, which is a Soviet Golf Uniform 43B tube. The parasitic suppressor, which is as usual a hairpin parasitic suppressor, realized following the Papa Alpha 0 Fox Romeo India indication, the anodic choke, and the separation capacitor, which is a huge 2 nanofarad capacitor, huge 2 nanofarad Russian capacitor. And here on the top part you can see the plate variable capacitor, which is a very high spaced capacitor. It needs to withstand 2.5 kilovolts at least, so you really need a huge capacitor there. Well, on this part of the amplifier, on this side of the amplifier, that's all you can see. Let's move to the other side. So that's the other side of the amplifier. On the lower deck you can see the negative supply for the first grid and the positive supply for the second grid, which is regulated with that transistor, as you already saw. And here on the lower deck we also have the doubler, the high voltage doubler for the anodic voltage, delivering, as I told you, 2500 watts. The filament and 12 volts transformer, and here you have the P input filter, which ensures no SWR between the amplifier and the transceiver. The first grid resistance was set to 200 ohm. 200 ohms, which is very easy to be tuned by this small input P filter. You can use 50 ohms. You can use 50 ohms at the input. There is no problem. So you will need no input filter at all for such amplifier, but the driving power will be higher, and being a CB amplifier, I prefer to stay low on driving power to be sure it can be attacked and driven by any decent CB station. So that's why, but you can use without any problem directly a 50 ohm resistor, and you will need no input filter at all. And here on the power on the upper deck, you can see the P filter, which as usual uses 6 millimeters copper Dacia brake pipe for the coil, and you have the power meter with the toroid and the rectifier for the power meter. So and of course the load air-spaced capacitor. So that's the amplifier with the input, the inside view. Let's go to see some tests with this amplifier. So here we are with the amplifier. It's already started for 3 minutes. It needs 3 minutes between the filament and the anodic voltage. So those 3 minutes have passed, and we're gonna start the anodic voltage. For the moment we're gonna stay on standby in order to measure the driving power. So we're gonna start the tuning with a very small power at the beginning, that power being 6.5 watts. We are on one scale and 6.5 watts. So for 6.5 watts we're gonna pass on 2 kilowatt scale. We're gonna pass on the amplifier, and we're having 600 watts, and tuning it will be a little bit better. Absolutely. Well, I guess that's about 6 that's for 6.5 watts. What you can get, it's about 600 watts at the output. So we're gonna increase the drive a little bit after the tuning. We're increasing the drive, and we need to retune, of course, a little bit. That's the best tuning we can get. Here it is, tuning again, and there we go, to 1.5 kilowatts. 1.5. There it is. This is on CB, and the dummy load is red hot, so there really is 1.5 kilowatts there, 1.5 kW. And let's see for which drive do we have that. Well, the drive is 17 watts. 17 watts for 1.5 kW. It's a perfect amplifier for CBUs. They don't have big power, at least on usual CB radios, but 20 watts, it's achievable. So that's it about the performance of this amplifier, which I have called Antonov, 1.5 kilowatts on CB. That's it. Thank you for watching, and see you on the band 73.